I'm good. Yeah.
Hi, Rithor, on behalf of the NCAA. This is the press conference at 174 pounds. Your national champion, the number 3 seed from Oklahoma State, Dean Hamiti, with a 4-1 sudden victory over the top seed and previously undefeated Keegan O'Toole of Missouri, the 2-time national champion at 165. Dean Hamiti, a senior from Joliet, Illinois, 30-1 on the season. Congratulations. Love to hear an opening statement from you on your national championship.
Man, I mean, I'm excited. I think it's still hitting me a little bit. The adrenaline's still pumping through my veins, but, you know, I'm grateful. And I really enjoyed this tournament and enjoyed the year, and nothing but grateful.
All right, questions from our media? Front row. We'll have Marcus. The microphone come to you.
Marcus Trevino, Stiller News Press. Dean, can you just walk me through that scramble at the end there?
Yeah, so it was kind of just instinct. I didn't really think about anything in there, you know, just I go in those positions every day at practice with Coach Dave or Coach Caldwell, and, you know, I'm comfortable in there, so it was all instinct for me.
We have another question here. We'll have Scott this time.
Scott Wright from the Oklahoman. Dean, it was a little unclear there whether you had gotten it. Obviously, they reviewed.
Yeah.
Did you know when you had gotten to the point of having the takedown, or were you a little unsure even?
No, I was sure. You know, I had full crossface. I was behind him, ankle hooked, leg in at one point. So, you know, I had control, and I was confident I got it, but I was prepared to go another period or two.
Question from our second row.
Evan Smith, Daily Collegian. Dean, how much did having a coach like David Taylor in the room help transcend you into a national championship athlete past the success that you had in prior years?
Yeah, so, you know, I think first off, it's just mindset-wise. You know, we're prepared for anything. We're ready to go and score points whenever I have to. And from a training aspect, you know, just really keying in on areas that I need to get better in. And, you know, it leads to stuff like this. You know, the small things lead to big moments, and today was a big moment.
Gary in the front row, question for Dean.
Excuse me, Gary Abbott, USA Wrestling. Since going down to Stillwater, I'm curious about your thoughts of the legacy of cowboy wrestling from all the Olympic champions and the tons and tons of national champions, the school that has had the most team titles ever in any sport, to be one of the champions, to come from that kind of legacy of excellence. So what's it feel like for somebody who just came part of this program and are helping carry the banner forward?
Yeah, you know, the reason why I went to Oklahoma State is I know they like to win championships, and they're very historic, you know, a very historic program, and I'm honored to be a part of it. I'm grateful for all my teammates, all my coaches, and I'm really just honored to be a part of this great program.
Additional questions for Dean from Kyle in the third row.
Kyle Klingman, Flow Wrestling. When you're on that raised stage and your family's over there, can you feel them? Can you feel their energy?
Yeah, when the overtime started, I looked up. I saw my dad looking right at me, and, you know, it kind of gives you a little breath of fresh air. You know, we're asked why we do it every day, and, of course, because we love it, but when the going gets hard, you know, you want to be a great role model for your brothers and your family. So, you know, gave me a little bit of a second win.
We have another question from Scott in the front row.
Yeah, Dean, we talked yesterday about how difficult it was to score on Levi,
Mm-hmm.
and then obviously scoring was very difficult in this one on both sides. What do you think enabled you to be the one that came out on top?
Yeah, being patient. You know, I think that's also a big switch in my wrestling. Last year, if I wasn't scoring in the first, second period, I'd just go crazy and end up getting taken down. But, you know, really picking and choosing and being patient with my attacks and reattacks, and, you know, got me that win.
Another question from Marcus.
In that first period, Keegan had your leg, and it was the same situation as the end of Big 12. So how much did you work on that in the past 2 weeks?
Yeah, you know, I've had a tendency for the past 3 years to get my leg stuck up there and be hobbling around on one foot. So, you know, I'm pretty comfortable in there, and I'm pretty used to being in that position in practice and in competition. So I was comfortable.
Any final questions? We have one from Nick in the second row.
Nick Cosgo on 3 Sports. Dean, you know, you obviously have a great wrestling legacy, a lot of success at Wisconsin, and finishing up at Oklahoma State. How do you kind of sum up your career now that you're on top of the podium, considering your past success and now finally getting to the top here?
Yeah, I think it's just a testament to my hard work. You know, I've lived the right lifestyle, and I've put in the countless minutes in practice and in competitions, and you know, I'm grateful for my career, and I wouldn't change a single thing.
Time for one more question from Dean. If not, that is your national champion at 174 pounds, Dean Hamiti of Oklahoma State. Congratulations.